So I went to a Chinese yesterday.
Right.
So this is what I got, right?
Hang on. So today is the day you let it go. Your chance will come. Well, okay. That's marvellous, that. So, how do you interpret that then?
Well, your chance will come, hey?
Okay.
Not being able to speak is not the same as not speaking. You seem as if you like to talk. I like to let people talk who like to talk. It makes it easier to find out how full of shit they are.
What the hell did you just say?
You are the new student. Come closer.
You're listening to the Kung Fu Podcast presented by James Still.
Anybody who has some knowledge of Kung Fu can easily defeat you.
And Steve Newby.
Man, you come right out of a comic book.
If you flash him, even for an instant, a defiant eye, he'll pluck it out. And if you throw any American sass his way, he'll snap your back and your neck like they were twigs.
Anyway, welcome to another episode of the Kung Fu Podcast with me, James Still, and as ever, joined by my teacher, Mr. Newbie. Hello, how are you doing?
I'm getting older.
Yes, yeah, that is true. Because it was your birthday the other day, wasn't it?
It was my birthday.
So how old are you now? How old are you?
35.
Yeah, I was going to say you don't look a day over 30.
And some change.
Yeah. Honest to God. Now go on.
I'm
Spill the beans.
62.
62. I remember when you turned 47 or 48. No, 47. Because you said, it's like the Hitman from the computer games. I'm number 47. I went, okay.
Yeah.
Do you feel a year older?
Not really.
Sorry, I'm just.
No, I don't. I feel fine. Ish.
Good job. I should have got a happy birthday song for you, shouldn't I?
No,
but I didn't. Yeah. I moonpigged you a card, but it's not there yet. Just so you know. Anyway, right, guys, we've got to press on. We've got some. So anyway, yes, happy birthday, Mr. Newbie. Belated and all that. Well done. I'm sure all of our listeners are wishing you another year of prosperity and
turmoil.
Yep. Okay. So,
did you want to? You remember that you just had a reply from someone that we talked about the kick blocks, was it? And you had a reply about the kick blocks and got some questions about that.
Yeah, it was number 5, and I think the thing was, it was quite it was a good question, and to be honest, I don't think we really talked about it. We did, obviously we talk about it, but sometimes it's just hard to articulate physical movement. So I think, this person just wanted some clarification, and my thing is, I'm just like, just make us a video, because it's hard for them to ask us in text. Exactly. Yeah. It's hard for us to describe in words. So, it's like, just make us a video. That's probably the best way forward.
Yeah, just on the telephone, the same as I would to them.
Yeah. I think the issue is everyone's in lockdown, so it's training partners, but, use whoever. Yeah. Can just throw a kick. You teach someone to throw a kick, and just, go from there. Because, it's just hard to understand what people exactly mean if they don't do a video. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I understand. That's why I do a video back. To when people ask me questions, it's much easier just to throw a video back at them.
Yeah. No, it's not. Some things we can explain. Some things we get exactly what you mean, but then other things are a bit more sort of complex, and the subtlety of it, I think, is just it will be lost in words. So it's better to show a physical application, I think, or an interpretation of our version of events, whatever. But so we'll get on that. We're always on hand, aren't we? Eh? You know, if you've got a question, fire it away.
Yeah. I don't always sit on this bed.
No.
I'm only on this bed for you, James.
Thank you. Hey, flipping egg. I'm not going there. Hey, did you know that this week has been the 7-year anniversary of the death of a chap called Lau Gar Lung. Do you know who that is? Have you any idea?
No.
No.
And
okay,
what?
so
Lau Gar
Lung. So it sounds like Gar, but I think it's Car. Lau Gar Lung. Okay. So anyway, he was a Hong Kong film star, director, stuntman and all that, and he's done really well. He did really well in Hong Kong. Like his heyday was sort of like 70s, 80s, stuff like that. And I think he did a lot of work for like the Shaw Brothers films. Do you know the difference? Like you got the Shaw Brothers martial art films.
Yeah, I've heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you've got like the
long time ago.
Yeah, you got the Shaw Brothers, and you got like Golden Harvest, and they were the two major studios in there.
Yeah,
and they were sort 70s. Of there you go. So I was always a Golden Harvest sort of person myself, but the Shaw Brothers was all like your 36th Chamber of Shaolin and all that. I never liked them. I just thought they were a bit funny. Anyway, but this guy, this Lau Gar Lung, 7 years ago, he died, and he was the keeper, the I don't know what it means, the keeper of the Hung Gar style, okay, Hung Kyun, okay, and his student, one of his senior students, has now taken over it, and that guy's name is Mark Houghton. Have you heard of Mark Houghton? Yeah. Doesn't he look like Bobby Davro? I'm not being funny. He does. I swear to God. I don't really
pay that much attention.
No, I know you don't. But he looks like Bobby Davro. I swear to God. If I put a picture up and he just looks like him, like if Bobby Davro could, do kung fu. Anyway, so this Lau Gar Lung, all of the disciples now are of this Mark Houghton guy in the UK and across the world. In fact, are basically making videos and expressing their love for this guy and all the rest of it. I mean, all the ones we know, I'm pretty sure that they've never met Lau Gar Lung. Pretty sure they weren't even part of the organization before, But hey, I could be wrong. They might be meeting him. Anyway, so this Lau Gar Lung, he was 78, right? And like I say, it's the keeper of the Hung Gar style. And he directed, have you ever heard of a film called Dirty Ho?
No.
You've never heard of Dirty Ho?
No.
What about My Young Auntie?
No.
No? Cat versus Rat?
No.
Come on, I don't think you've lived unless you watch My Young Ho. My Young Auntie and Dirty Ho, rather.
Anyway. It doesn't sound like Shaw Brothers or whatever to me.
Oh, it does. No, to be fair, have you heard of Drunken Master 2? Because he directed that.
It sounds like someone called Epstein.
Hang on. Yeah, what's that? Someone said to me the other day, you're slower than Harvey Weinstein's computer hard drive. I was like, what? I was like, okay, fair enough. But anyway, so the reason I talk about this Lau Gar Lung, okay, because like I said, his student, Mark Houghton, Bobby Davro, we'll call him, he's now sort of in charge of the style. Okay, he's in Hong Kong. He's sort of like a successful, I guess, Hong Kong movie star, or was. Now he just proliferates the Hung Gar style. And we know a lot of people who have sort of, flipped, turned, I don't know, what did the mafia say? They turned informant, and
they've just gone their own.
I know, I'm kidding. They've gone their own way into.
They've chosen their own
into the thing, right? And so what we've got, I've actually got a video to show you of just some of the highlights of how some of these people are, you know, a lot of people we know and some we don't, but some of these people are sort of expressing their sorrow at the loss of their Sigung, okay? Bear in mind, probably 90% of them haven't even met the guy. But hey, you know, we'll see. So, okay.
I hope today, Sifu, is a good day for you. I know how upsetting it is for you on this day.
So that guy, you know, well, we know who he is.
Sigong, Sao Chin.
What's going on?
Sigong, Sao Chin.
What's this about?
Well, they're just doing a traditional thing, aren't they? Really. So.
Lau Gar Sao Chin.
Right. What's Sao Chin mean? I thought it meant sore chin.
I don't know.
Well, you're the master.
Sigong, Lau Gar Sao Chin.
And this guy is celebrating the death of this guy, you know, or by being beat up by an invisible person. He's in America. I think they're pretty good falls. But, you know, what do you think?
I don't know what he's doing, James.
I don't know what.
So basically, they're celebrating the death or commiserating the death of this instructor.
And they're all doing it. And I don't think any of them friggin' met it.
Well, I can't understand is why they're doing it on video.
Well, I don't know. Oh, by the way, this, by the way, this is Lau Gar Sifu, and this is why we had that discussion on a couple of podcasts ago about missing techniques, you know, and in a form, if you miss a technique, you know. So this is where he gets it from. What's the next one? Missed! There you go. I told you.
Oh, right, okay.
This is the mentality. And here is an umbrella form. Obviously, he's practiced this a hell of a lot. You know, because what better way to, you know, commemorate a life of a person by doing a made-up form. Here's the stick. I mean, I think that's too big for him to start with. But oh well.
I'm just wondering why are they? Yeah, so they're all basically putting themselves on video to commiserate someone's death.
Well, I think it's a bit weird.
I mean, not so much the martial arts stuff.
Well, we can talk about that.
I can understand them throwing themselves around martial arts, but you know, setting fire to paper, you know, alleged.
No. Listen, when Mastiao dies, right? God forbid. But are you going to burn your tax returns and make a YouTube video to commemorate him? You're not, are you?
I'm not going to make a YouTube video about it. You know.
Exactly.
I'll send a letter to family and commiserations and all that kind of thing, and you know, you kind of mourn in your own way, don't you? Really?
Well, I get that.
But it's someone that I know.
Yeah, but these people, I know some, you know, the majority of them have never met this guy, and I think they're being told by Bobby Davro that they have to bloody. Sorry, it sounds stupid, but that they have to show, you know, they have to show their allegiance to the style, and it's like, but how? Like, I think that's really sort of, you know, it's disingenuous. And I mean that because, like, if you really respect someone that much, you don't put it on video, do you? You don't put your mourning and, you know, I'm such a good person and broadcast it to the world.
I wouldn't have thought it was necessary to put it on video, and that's what confuses me when people like are just burning stuff on video. I mean, when they obviously, I was going to say they could do it together, but I guess they're all over the place, so they're not.
Oh, there's some people in Paris. There's one in Leicester, 14 miles away from me. You know, they're all over the place. They're all like, you know, it's not that big a sort of, the scope is big, but I think the organization, you know, is not that big. But, you know, but my point, the thing is that they've got all these people, and, you know, in a way it's quite, you know, it's good that they sort of, you know, they're all towing the line and whatnot, because God knows we don't really toe the line. But I mean, for me, it's like, it's completely, you know, sort of, it feels false. It feels sort of staged.
To me too, but, you know, whatever they're into, if they want to do that. But I mean, because I guess you're thinking in the sense that because you knew them previously and kind of martial art they were doing before.
No, it's the kind of people they were before, which we know, we know some of them anyway. And we know that they're sort of where their moral compass is. And it's like, you know, let's face it, you know, they're trying to project to everybody what good people they are, you know, by doing this and trying to get some sort of, you know, recognition from Bobby Davro in Hong Kong. And it's just like, you know, you're so fake. I mean, that's my personal opinion. All right. That's my personal, I just think they're fake, you know. Interestingly enough, the one from Scotland didn't do a video, but he did write a note. So
that's nice.
Well, you know,
he wrote me a note too.
Well, we discussed this, but we're not talking about that now. We're bitching about something else. But look, you know what? I mean,
I just, you know, I know what you're getting at. I can see, you know, all those videos and stuff like that, and obviously it's because we know what they're like exactly. So, you know, but it's irrelevant as far as I'm concerned. They
oh, right, okay, everybody, we'll stop the podcast right now. Thanks for joining us on podcast 27.
No,
we got nothing more to talk about.
I see what you're saying about these people, because of how they were previously. Yeah, I cannot understand why they're doing that for that reason. Because like you say, you know them, and so you know what they're like, and you know what they were into, and then years later, you see them doing all these really weird and wonderful things, and you think, where have you? You know, what kind of planet have you gone to?
I think they're just trying to they're trying to, they're trying to live the Hong Kong movie ideology of a kung fu practitioner.
Yeah, but when you look at the techniques and the style and stuff like that, it's very, very solid, very.
Well, it's power based.
Power based, and and you were just showing us that with that guy doing the martial art and missing.
Yeah, Lau Gar Sifu. Sorry, it could be Lau Gar Sifu. We don't know.
Okay, well, there's a kind of example of what was said.
Exactly, it's an example of what was said. We train to miss. No. You're doing a wushu friggin', you know, movie fight where they miss, you know, and you know, you watch Bobby Davro and talking about, you know, applying the style. That's all he's teaching. That's the guy. All the guy does. All the guy, you know, that was Hong Kong movie fighting. You know, under the guise of this Lau Kar Lung lineage Hung Kyun. And it's like, fine, whatever style floats your boat, that's great. But let's just be honest about it. And then when we got, you know, Lau Gar Sifu saying, "Oh, in a form, you know, would you train to miss?" I'd say yes. And, you know, read the comment. That's what he put. And it's like, you know, no, you wouldn't. Why would you do that unless you're doing a wushu fight scene? You know, where's the science in that? Just hit him. Why would you train something?
Yeah, if you've looked on the podcast, what is it? You know, the Facebook page.
Yeah.
Right, the Blogspot, is it Blogspot?
Yeah, Blogspot. Yeah.
Pods, yeah. If you've watched that recently, you've got a big wushu thing, which is absolutely amazing. It looks brilliant. Everybody doing it in unison, all this kind of thing, and everybody's so supportive of it. When you see all this, I mean, every other video on the Blogspot is people doing wushu or tai chi, right? And you see these massive groups of people, and you can see what's happening to martial arts today. You can see these are really talented people doing amazing things at big schools that are obviously government run, development of this wushu. And then, of course, they promote this wushu. and bye-bye genuine martial arts, bye-bye genuine Kung Fu style, bye-bye all the Shaolin concept, and hello, wushu, swingy, bouty, throwy, swordy, jump abouty, athletics, which is what they do is phenomenal. They are so athletic and so good at what they do.
Yeah.
But why are people singing their praises who really need to understand that their style is a genuine Kung Fu style, which is not about swinging yourself around. It's about hitting the target in the fastest possible way with the best possible technique. That's what really upsets me about martial arts today, is that you're getting all this on Blogspots or whatever they call them.
Yeah, well, no, be specific. The Lau Gar Kung Fu Blogspot on Facebook is sort of like one of two pages where all the Lau Gar practitioners and supporters and whatnot can discuss Lau Gar and whatnot. But the problem with it is the majority of people, you don't see any Lau Gar. And when certain people, and I won't say who, put up a post about Lau Gar, they get removed. Not once, but twice. Now,
not for us to say.
It's not for us to say. But right, isn't this the problem? Like, isn't it ludicrous? Like, it's crazy. I mean, I'd like to see some Lau on the Lau. Oh, you won't see Lau on the Lau Gar Kung Fu blogs, but
I think you know what it is. It's people are they're concerned that other people will criticize them.
Rightly so. Yeah,
techniques.
Rightly so.
Well, but there's
because
nothing
that's
wrong
why we do.
with
That's what we do.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with criticism.
No, but they, if they do some technique, go, look, this is Lau, and we go, yeah, that's, at least you're doing some Lau. It doesn't matter whether they're doing it, perfection or whether they're just demonstrating something. As long as it works, there's stuff that, we can see done that looks good, and it's Lau. Can we just see some of that? Can we even see some competition fighting or something? Can we just see some self-defense or some sticky hands or, something that is presumably Lau, rather than just seeing pictures of,
wushu. People in
wushu.
warehouses doing wushu,
with silky jammies on, and they're just looking. I mean, they're talented. There's no doubt about that.
You don't need to keep saying that. We know they're talented. They're athletes. But let's just focus on, what has that got to do with what we're doing? It's got nothing to do with what we're doing.
No, it's not, and that's what sort of upsets me, in the sense that you can do all you can to try to promote a style, but if the style isn't promoting the style, then you're not going to win, are you?
I think Lau Gar is very sort of, and I say Lau Gar, I'm talking not about Lau Gar, but I'm just, I think it's very sort of, we can't be seen to offend anybody, and it's not about causing offence.
You're not
it's just
offending
about,
anybody.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying it's not about causing offence, but that's probably what they'd say. It's just about making observations and critiquing people and just saying, listen, great athleticism, but show me some detail. Show me this.
Well, I'm not. I wouldn't attempt to critique the people who do wushu. They like you say.
Why not? Why not critique it? Why not?
I'm not
give off an opinion.
It's not what I see. It's what I don't see that I want to see. And that is, I want to see more traditional Kung Fu. I want to see more Lau Gar, in effect, demonstrated on the Lau Gar, podcast.
No, calm down. Right.
It's
not Lau Gar. Look, that's the guy.
The Lau Gar
Blogspot.
Blogspot. That's it. I'm getting a podcast. They haven't got a podcast, have they?
Well,
So the Blogspot. I'd like to see less wushu, less tai chi, and maybe I don't know if I'm the first to sort of, say that, apart from you. But it would be nice. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you are. I think, everybody should be saying, can we see this? Can we see that?
Yeah,
I'd like to see some Lau on there.
But they won't. And it's just like, Jesus Christ,
If you do see it, it's like people from yesteryear.
Yeah.
You know, so why are people, this is what confuses me. You know, why are people kind of promoting every style but their own style? And that's what upsets me. So I want to see more of Lau on the Lau podcast, Lau Blogspot, whatever it's called.
Well, you know.
And see more of, I want to see more of it. So let's just see, you know, can't people make a few videos and throw them out, and, you know, we can congratulate them for actually, you know, showing them. But are they worried about being, you know, because they're not training in the same way, that kind of mentality, and they're just, you know, they're weekend trainers, most of them. So let's, you know, so what? Let's just see what you think. Why don't you, rather than, you know, people, okay, instead of people just going, I do it this way, why don't they say, you know, do a little video and go, this is how I do it. Has anyone got any other suggestions? So that in effect, they're not putting themselves down and saying, oh, I'm the greatest, but maybe, you know, they're saying, I do it because of this, or I think this is what this technique is for. What is it for? Because
you know the problem with that. You know
What?
the problem with that. Nobody wants to be criticized, and it's not their like, it's just a human thing, I think. But if you put something down on video, you know,
yeah, but if you're
media,
specific,
everything is exacerbated, right? So if I put something on social media, use me for example, and I say, what, you know, has anyone got any advice for me? I know that, you know, loads of people are going to go, oh, you're not doing this, you're not doing that, you're not doing that, you're not doing this. It's like, you know, why would you do that when we can just live in this sort of, you know, this socialist utopia? You put something on there, everybody says, you're amazing, that's great, show me some more. And it's like, it's so false, you know?
But I think,
false.
I mean, is it possible that people could put things on a video and say, oh, this is I do it? And yeah, understandably, people will, there's going to be people who criticize, but then they can answer that criticism and say, well, you know, show me what you do. So we don't want to hear anybody that goes, you know, yeah, you're not doing this, you're not doing that. Show me what you are doing,
look.
Rather than tell me what I'm not doing.
Look, we know that doesn't work, because how many times did I give Lau Gar Sifu the opportunity to come out and tell us not only, you know, who he is, but to engage with us and demonstrate something? He never did.
Well, that's one person. I mean,
no. But use it. I'm not saying one person affects everybody. I'm just saying if that's one person, then I guarantee that most people will do the same, because it's true. They don't want to be called out.
No, I understand, but it's not for me to tell people what they're doing or what they're not doing. It's for me to put the question out there.
Nobody said you were telling them what to do. And what
show me what you're doing,
but
and
even
then,
that question,
or ask, if you like. Yeah.
Even you asking could be misconstrued as you're criticizing. I mean, you're a guardian, right? Didn't you take an oath whereby you can't, comment or you know, or bring the style into disrepute? What does that mean exactly? Who defines what disrepute is? If you ask someone, or if you critique someone on a video, right, which is an honest critique, you know, what's the difference between an honest critique and you know, picking on them and making fun of them? You know, who's to say? That's the problem. No one's defining their terms. So, you know, as a guardian, you know, you took this oath. What was it? I don't know.
Well, as you said, not to...
Right. So most people aren't going to critique anyone else who are guardians in the BKFA.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter the guardians. I'm talking about any beginner or anyone say, look, I've been shown the set like this. Could you please show me?
Yeah, but if the guardians aren't doing it,
or something, well,
if the guardians aren't doing it, what do you? The lower ranks aren't going to, are they?
It's got to start somewhere. That's all I'm saying, you know. But I'm only just talking in my opinion. I don't know how it could work. I mean, when we do stuff on here, and people ask us questions, and they send us videos of what they do, they've got the gorm to do that. They've got the capability of, you know, here you go, here's what I do, you know, tell me what you think, and then you tell them what you think. They don't get offended by that.
No.
And I don't see anybody should get offended by that. because you can say, okay, well, I do it this way. Then they can turn around and say, well, I've never been shown that, or I don't think that would work, or, maybe why have I been shown this then? And so it creates this. I mean, what you really need is a forum for Lau Gar.
No,
you don't want a forum for Wushu.
No. Well, I thought that's what we've got already. Lau Gar Kung Fu Blogspot was a forum for Lau Gar, but it's not
but no one
being used.
No one wants to use it for Lau Gar, and
because everyone's about patting themselves on the back. You're so good. You're this, that, and the other. They're not discussing the art. They're not criticizing the art. And like we discussed last week, or certainly I said, your job, if you're doing Lau Gar as a practitioner, I mean, I've been doing it for 16 years now, so that gives me the perfect right to criticize the art. I'm not, dissing it, but I'm criticizing it, and I criticize me more than anybody else, by the way.
Yeah.
But no one else is.
Yeah, well, we all have to criticize ourselves. We've got to have somewhere to start from, and then we've got to kind of lead. We've got to learn, and the problem we've got is a lot of people they're learning, but like you say, they're not prepared to sort of see other directions. And I think a lot of people haven't got the teachers to be able to find their way, and that's why they start looking at other ways and other styles and so on. And nowadays, in a modern situation like today, where you've got video and all sorts of footage, really it's about communication, not about the video footage, but about communication about video footage. So you could send people video footage and say, I do it like this. It doesn't even have to be on the forum. It just could be, all you have to put on the forum is, I talked to such and such and he told me this. I talked to such and such, he told me that. I'm sending him a video, and let's, and then I'll let you know what he says. And by all means, then they can criticize the answer if they want to. So, but it would be good to be able to see some, especially in these days where you've got this lockdown and no one's learning except within their own little groups, those people who want to learn. I think it's really important that people try to critique and work together to try to solve questions, create questions and solve the answers.
You're being awfully diplomatic today.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's all right. I think you're doing a great job. You're on the fence. I'm spouting off, and
you're trying to pull me into this argument now.
Oh no!
But I just want.
I give my opinion because I don't care. I'm a nobody, but
No, I would give my opinion, but that is my opinion. I want to see people ask questions. I've say that every time. And how can we? How can you take it any other way? You've got to get people to start questioning everything. You've got to get people to start putting stuff on that blog. We want stuff on that blog spot. We want people to just even stand there and go, hey, I do it like this, now this is why I do it, or whatever. But if they can't do that, if they don't want to show their face, then can't they just put something on there and just call themselves Lau Gar, whatever, Sifu, or whatever?
But I mean, I think the Bobby Davro's Hung Kyun is crap. That's my opinion. All right, and I can give you the reasons why I think that. But there's one.
I can see the reasons why you think that.
Okay, but that's my opinion. Everybody is to their own. But the one thing they're doing, the one thing they've got, is like friggin' Scientology. They're all believers, and they're all prepared to go on YouTube, on Facebook, virtue signal these, videos, of, whatnot, but they're all coming together. You've got to admit, you look at, do Lau Gar do the same?
No.
But do they though? I'm just asking the question,
No, they don't. They don't.
But why not? Why did you say that then?
Well, because they don't. Because you don't see people coming together. You'll see people in clans. You'll see people within groups who will talk to each other about different things. And we have tried to encourage people to, talk to us about. But I think people just don't want to. They don't want to put themselves in a situation that they can't get out of. I think once inevitably you start asking questions, and you start, I mean, the questions sometimes belay the knowledge, you know.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
Well,
Sorry,
what I mean is by sometimes people ask questions, kind of gives people the opinion that they don't know enough. It's like asking a daft question. There's no such thing as a daft question in reality.
Yeah.
But people will ask questions and then suddenly realize that, wait a minute, I actually knew the answer to that. But by then, the time they've asked the question, other people are going, oh, he doesn't know the answer to that.
Right.
Well, you know what I mean? I mean, I know that you've asked me questions, but before I can answer them, in your head, you suddenly realize the answer. And you go, you know what? That was a daft question. I should have known that. Right. And people do that. But as soon as they do that on a video or on a blogspot,
it's there forever.
Yeah, people are going to go, oh, well, how did he not know that? And he's such and such a grade. So people are scared of that too. But, you know, I think people have just got to come out and say, you know what? I love this style. And I know this works, that works. This is how I do it. I demonstrate it this way. Is there anyone can offer me, you know, alternatives? Is there any way? You know, because you know as well as I do that people try to stick to showing the set exactly how they learned it.
Yeah.
And don't develop it so that it then becomes more fluid or then becomes much smaller or becomes invisible.
Yeah.
And people they're not trying to do that. Whereas if they did it, people would go, you know, of course people would critique and say, you know, I that doesn't look anything like FAQ and it doesn't look like anything like, you know, Bokpaj. And it's not supposed to look like it. It's supposed to have the essence of it. It's supposed to have the movements useful in it.
But it's like, I mean, there's loads of instances where people say, oh, no, you don't do it, you know, you don't do it like that, you do it like that. And it's like, okay, that's fine, but tell me why. And I think we've discussed this on other ones. And the problem you get with Facebook is, or wherever, when you put yourself out there to criticism, you've got these people who will just be the first ones to snap up and say, you're doing it wrong. But they're not going to say why you're doing it wrong or give them...
Well, then those are the ones that you don't need to acknowledge.
No, that's fine.
You know, you just say, you know, such and such says I'm doing it wrong.
Okay.
There's the challenge. Show me what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Show me what you're doing. So, and it's a sharing. You've got to share that information.
But then some people will hide behind, well, you know, Master Yao says to do it like this, or my teacher says to do it like this. Now,
show us what you're doing.
Exactly right. So it's like, yeah, okay.
Master and anyway, if they do it like that, what does it matter if they do it like they say? Great, that's fine. But they don't have to say. I mean, as long as you give a reason for doing something, right? As long as you and it is the same movement, okay, albeit slightly different because of the speed or the distance or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, or the purpose is going to be different too. Okay, you've lots of different reasons of doing something. If it's the same technique, then, you know, how can you criticize it? Go, yeah, okay, yeah, you do it like that. You do it as a lock. I do it as a block. This is how I do it as a block or a parry. And this is how I do it as a grab or whatever. And it turns into this and turns into that. And people go, yeah, that's great. And then they start promoting Lau as it should be promoted, as a useful technique. Instead of just standing there and doing big forms, throwing their arms around, just get a partner and just say, I'll do it this way. Oh, that technique is coming. He does this, he does that, and I perform it in this way. And really try to avoid, if you can, and I am talking to the listeners, I'm not just talking to you, try to avoid at all costs having someone stand there with a fist out for 10 minutes while you do something. You know, at the end of the day, it's got to work. So, you know, just try to do it. Because at the end of the day, if you do it fast, okay, and you're worried about someone not actually being able to see it, you know what video does? You can slow it down. Okay, so when you put it on video, you just slow the whole thing down and you'll actually recognize the techniques as they go. Because they're the same techniques, but because they're done fast, they're kind of shorter. You know, like the first set, big movements, and then when you do it fast, it's kind of very, very flowing. You know, boom, 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 and that doesn't look anything like the first set. And people will go, "Oh, Steve, you're doing the first set wrong. All the movements are there, all the uses are there. So tell me what I'm doing wrong.
Mm.
So many people just try to do it exactly the same size every time.
Well, look at the Hung Gar lot. They're doing those forms exactly as they were probably done 20 years ago. I guarantee there's no friggin' evolution. Just look at the stances, look at the big movements, the swinging arms, the power and all that. It's just
they're trying to make something of a set. They're trying to make the set work. Yeah. They're not trying to make the movement work.
No.
Right? They're doing the movements as the size of the set, big swinging arms, as you say. So.
Well, and not only that, it's like low stances, stuff like that. All valuable stuff, for training.
In training, yeah.
But,
in training.
But
not in self-defense.
Do they know that? Or are they have they been watching too many Hong Kong films?
The people that we know, they should know that. They should have a little bit more.
Oh, I'm sure deep down in their subconscious they do. I'm sure of it. But they have to justify themselves now.
I guess.
Because they have to seem important. They have to show their how much they respect their allegiance to Bobby Davro and Si Gung, all the rest of it. Today is the day you let it go. Your chance will come. There you go. You've heard it.
I went to a Chinese restaurant yesterday. And I got that out of one of those fortune cookies. And remember what we were talking about last podcast? And the guy...
go on, what were we talking about? I can't remember.
You sent a message, didn't you? Sent me an email saying, let it go.
Oh, yeah, let it go. There you go.
And that's come out of a cookie.
It's a sign. It's a sign.
But it does say, let it go, your chance will come.
Oh, there you go.
There it is.
Yeah,
I thought that was quite funny, so I saved it for you.
Mr. Fortune Cookie, Fortune Writer. Fantastic. Yeah. So, but I think, we kind of got onto this because, I'm off on one because I don't like disingenuous people.
Yeah, you've seen some videos, haven't you?
Yeah, and that's it. And I was actually sent these videos, by one of our listeners, and thank you for that. But it's like, it's when I see what martial arts has become and what people, perceive kung fu to be, and people like this sort of add into this sort of this idea of what kung fu is, and it's very worrying for the future of all Chinese martial arts, actually, because if people actually watch this and think that's what I should be doing, it's like, do you want to be a martial artist or do you want to appear to be a martial artist? That's the choice. What do you want?
So you go deeply into the traditions, or you go deeply into the athleticism, completely out of context with the science, and you end up doing an awful lot of athletic. That's what wushu is.
Yeah.
So, and when it can be done, timed with everyone else.
Yeah.
Right at speed. If you watch the things on YouTube,
or
on the what's it called? Not a podcast. What's it called? A blogspot. When you see that video and everyone's going like,
oh, yeah.
because it does look beautiful, but for God's sake, do something about Lau.
It's because it's too easy to be nice and to go with the tide. It's go against it. And I don't think enough people are fighting for it.
Lots of confidence lost.
Yeah.
People are losing confidence in it, and that's wrong, because it's a damn good style. And now you've got the competitors are kind of fighting for themselves. They're not fighting for the style anymore.
No.
They're fighting for themselves. You only have to look at the nationals to see that. When you see the nationals and the way that they've gone so small.
Yeah.
That's, and of course that's partially due to the politics of what's been going on. So, and of course I was part of that I was a victim to that too. So, we need to try to build Lau up, and we need to try to promote it, and we need to sort of have a little unity and a little argument, because just because you argue doesn't stop you from being united.
Yeah.
It builds on knowledge. It builds on, critique is damn good. You know,
it's necessary.
It's necessary. Yes, it's necessary to see what's right and what's wrong. That's what that's what politics is all about. You know, one politician believes in himself, in his policies. The other one believes in himself and his policies. One of them's got to be wrong, but it doesn't matter. They can argue and then go for a cup of coffee afterwards together and discuss the differences. You know. The only problem is then you've got finance coming into it, you've got power coming into it, you've got
position, you've got
position and benefits coming into it, and people of authority who people want to get on, so they look in the right, and that's what loses then. So martial arts loses. Yeah. But I think there's a lot of people, certainly the Guardians, and certainly senior people who really could kind of help to develop the way Kung Fu is going and promote Lau much better by, they're not going to do a video of themselves doing a set, for God's sake. Everyone's seen them, and we know that everyone will critique it and everyone will be different. Just, this bit in this set, I do it like this. What do you think? How would you like to? And then you'll get a lot of people going, I do it this way, I do it that way. And it doesn't matter about the people who say you're doing it wrong, because unless you're going to give us a reason, you can ignore that kind of. Yeah.
Well, I think we should put out a sort of a challenge to, all two of our listeners. Go on the Lau Gar Kung Fu Blogspot and post something to do with Lau. Do it. If I dare you.
Yeah.
I would do it, but I've already been kicked off once.
Just put something. Yeah, do something.
Just go on there. Just put.
Why don't you put one of those videos you've done with the elbows and stuff like that, and talk about Lau and.
Oh no! I've done it twice. I've been kicked off twice, so I know my place. But I'm just appealing to those people who are listening to us. Okay, I do this with you. That's my bit. So
I got anything on there? Should I put anything on there?
You can put something on there, but I don't think you need to. I'm appealing to those people listening to us who put your money where your mouth is. Put something on.
I put something about looking out for an instructor and stuff like that.
I think yes, you did. Yeah, and it got no likes. So, you should just. I think you should just, put something about, you do wushu or something. You do wushu.
Yeah, maybe I should put some, silky jammers on and then do it again.
That's right, yeah. No, it's because we put that reaction video on of you critiquing, and that's why we got kicked off. It wasn't deemed, suitable. So some people took umbrage to it. Whatever. Grow up.
So what?
We're all big boys. We're all big boys and girls, Get a grip of yourselves, people. Jesus Christ.
Critique someone who's destroying Lau.
Yeah. Destroying Lau. Is your microphone falling off?
No, it's here still.
Okay. It just went a bit funny.
Okay.
No, that's what it was. It was destroying Lau. He is destroying Lau. He's just done a Shaolin stamp challenge, and blow me, he can't even do one decent Shaolin stamp. He's challenging people to do 100. It's like, what are you on about? You can't even do it. Yeah. So, wow. It's crazy. It really is. It's like, I'm watching, you watch it, fall. It's not falling apart, but you see the cracks and all the rest of it, And, I mean, look, I'm a nobody, but you've done your time, and you've done a hell of a lot for Lau Gar, a hell of a lot in the UK. Yeah. You'll never admit that, but let's face it. All the things you've done, when you write it down on paper, because I'm, any legitimate, martial artist nowadays lists all their qualifications,
Yeah,
they can write it at the end of emails. But, but when you list your qualifications, and I'm not, brown nosing you, but let's face it, all the things you've done over the years.
Well, to get to Canada, I got to Canada as an outstanding athletic coach.
I'm sorry, that's great. I bet you were like, yeah, I'll have that. Business feet, whatever, visa, athletic visa.
It took me 7 years
I
to
know.
write. I had to write, like doing a bloody degree. It was how I would, make a business. I would, I had to critique. Thank you very much. I had to critique a lot of different styles and, say what the difference was between what I could teach and what they could teach. Yeah, and then I went to an interview with the Canadian authorities, in London, and the guy said, he asked me, he was looking at my notes, and he says, what's the difference between like Taekwondo and what you do, the Kung Fu? And I said, Taekwondo, it's a bit like Irish dancing with attitude.
Yeah.
I think he'd done Taekwondo.
Well, you have to be very careful. Well, that's it. You have to be careful with the immigration officers, don't you? Don't want to offend them.
No.
Honestly.
Yeah, it was a long slog, but I had to do an awful lot of writing, an awful lot of theory, and so on. I've still got it all written down. I guess I could put a lot of that in the book.
No, I suppose you could. Yeah.
Yeah, I think actually there's quite a lot to talk about in the that I could put in the book.
Well,
but it took a long time, and in the end, I got accepted. Not only did I get accepted and get permanent residence, but also the whole of my family got it. So I got 6 permanent residents.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Canada.
There you go.
And simply because of the fact that I knew what I was bloody talking about, and I don't hold anything back. I had to make critique, and I had to tell them what I did and how I did it, and so on. I had to prove it. And so I proved it. And that, people always criticize me and say, well, you don't know this or you don't know that, like you can't speak Chinese or anything. I said, well, I can speak Canadian. I know what a trunk is.
It's a boot, by the way. It's a boot, it's a handbrake,
Sorry.
It's a bonnet.
Yeah. It's emergency brake.
No, it's a handbrake. Yeah. Come on, you're elevating yourself above your circumstances now, Mr. Newby, aren't you?
Yeah. So no, it's just, I think, people have got to understand. I guess, nobody can criticize people who don't know what they've had to go through in order to do something. When I criticize the people that we've criticized, I'm only criticizing people who I know what they've done to get where they are, and I know what they haven't done, to get where they are.
You are. I'm just stirring shit with people.
But I'm just making a point. Look, if you tell me that you've done this and doing that, and then you try to tell me that you are this important and that important, I can't say it on air, but it does begin with an F and ends with off. Because
we've discussed this, but like it's just this veneer of shit that gripes me when I watch them on their cameras, showing respects to a sea gun they've never met. You know what I mean? And it's like, we know the type of people you are.
Yeah.
You can talk about us by all means. Whatever. You say it, and we'll discuss it, because we know the truth. But it's like, when you're trying to convince the whole world that you're this that you're important, and you're this this hardcore martial artist who respects
don't they all do that? Yeah, there's a lot of them, don't they? I mean, what about those people that don't don't touch anyone and they punch, and then all their students fall over, and they aren't they trying to prove to the world that they can do this amazing, special, unscientific principle? And then you've got, I mean, everyone's a world champion, aren't they? Everyone's a master. And I guess I'm just not looking at it that way. I look at it from the fence and say, okay, show me you're a master. And some of them are talented, and some of them are just diabolical. And
some of them, some of these people we talk about were talented.
Yeah.
Or I suppose they are talented, but it's like you watch you know, what they've now done with that talent, and you just think, what a waste, man. You know, and it's so sad.
Yeah.
You know, so sad. And when they can't even acknowledge the past as well, and it's like,
yeah. Oh well, yeah.
you
That's trying to rub away history is never going to be a good thing.
You know,
it's never going to be a good thing, and that's, I guess, what keeps us driving. That's what keeps us going. Because if someone turns around and tries to rub me out of their history, you know, nah, you ain't going to do that. I'm sorry.
No.
It's going to upset you, but I'm sorry that history has been, and it's still there, and it never. You can't eradicate his history. So, yeah, that's what drives me to, you know, answer the questions that you're talking about. And you know, mention these people occasionally, but it's not about that. Going back to what we're talking about and trying to encourage people to talk about Lau more and try to get more Lau on the Lau site, you know, that's really what we're trying to get to do. We're trying to encourage people to do more, you know, Lau, the end, and try to bring that, resurge that real pride in a style. And it shouldn't be individual pride, it should be the pride in the style. In the style, not in the individuals. You know, because everyone's got the capability. Not all people are fantastic fighters, not all people are great technicians, not all people have a huge amount of knowledge, but between them, it's like, you know, when I started to do syllabus in Canada, and so I have this attitude that if I was to teach, and this is the way I see it, if I was to teach one individual who's very good as a sword and just teach them everything about a sword, but not teach him anything to do with the spear, and then I find another individual who could be very good at the spear and favors the spear, and he practices the spear, and he's very good at the spear. And then I find someone who's very good with a tiger fork and someone who's very good with a pole. Now, all of them become very, very good at what they do, but none of them know the style until they are willing to come together and teach each other. And when they come to teach each other, now you have a whole. Right? So it isn't that the fighter must critique the traditionalist, or the traditionalist must critique the self-defense person, or the old knowledgeable person must be critiqued because he can't throw a flying kick or something. It's that they all have something to offer, right? And they can all bring things to it. And so rather than just go, well, I can do that, but you can't. I can fight in championships, but you can't, or win championships or whatever. I can throw a sword around, but you can't. It's like, this is how the sword is done in our style. And then other people will say, yeah, well, I do it this way. Show me, you know, what would you do with this move? And then learn from each other. And you know, because you're going to need that one day, because you ain't going to have no one to teach you. And a lot of people around the country, in the UK particularly, obviously, they're at that stage already. The only problem is, rather than try to learn from each other, they're literally trying to hide from each other so they can be the master. You know, I am the Sifu. I can't be seen to be learning from someone else. And this is a sad thing. You've got to advise each other, talk to each other, you know, ask each other and work with each other.
It's like you said quite a few podcasts ago about, you know, chinks in your armor. You said that's what defines you know, you as a martial artist, is the ability to sort of acknowledge, you know, where your weaknesses lie and be receptive to other people's opinions and ideas, because you want those chinks in your armor. You want to be exposed. That's because if you're not, you're introverted and you'll never learn. You think you're the master. You know,
well,
and
but I'm never going to be the competition fighter. I'm never going to be the, you know, flamboyant traditionalist who throws, you know, amazing techniques in the air or whatever. But I'm the old fogey with the knowledge, and I have some information to give, and I'm prepared to, you know, be corrected by the fighter or by the flamboyant traditionalist. I'd like to see the capability of a self-defense individual, you know, showing me what could be used for the self-defense. That's why I loved a couple of podcasts ago, we had Rash Patel on, and he was able to show us a lot of techniques on the floor, and I loved that. That showed me chinks. That showed me I haven't done that on the floor for years and years and years. And then he's showing you so much more that can be done with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he's driving it home that, once a person's, been countered, finish it completely, get the person to the ground. Yeah. And of course people don't, they just go punch. I've been in fights where I've punched a guy and he hasn't gone down and he's just looked at me angrily. You have to hit him again and whatever. But, I'm sure people have been in fights like that. You go, you've seen the films, haven't you, when they punch the big guy and the guy just looks down at them angry, then throws them through the window. What you need to do is punch them, but know that you've hit them and know that you've got to finish them. So while he's reeling from that punch, can you get him down? Can you do something else?
Yeah.
So it's and it's all learnable. Everyone can learn it. Everyone can gain from everyone else.
But in order for that to happen, we've got to you've got to come together to do that.
Yeah.
I think there's so many. I think in Lau, in the UK, there's so many sort of groups, factions, if you
factions,
like.
Yeah.
And it's like
but YouTube is a wonderful thing, or social media is a wonderful thing, but let's be polite in social media. Let's be respectful in social media. Let's try and get people to talk and converse. And the reason we're angry, and people who listen to our podcast, they know we're angry. We're angry at the situation. We're angry at the way people act with each other. And we're angry at people who are allowed to completely destroy the style without criticism. And so we're the only people giving them criticism. So don't tell me I can't give people criticism when I know them, when I taught them, and when I, they betray the style. I don't want to see anyone betray the style in that way.
Yeah.
You have problems with your instructor, fine. You have problems with your instructor, but the instructor at the end of the day is, he's what gave you that. So you gotta. It doesn't matter whether or not you want to stick with him. It's just that you have some kind of respect for him. You don't just betray him and then try to rip him to pieces. What was that? What was that?
That was the world's smallest violin playing just for you.
I thought it was I thought it was like The Godfather or something.
I think it was the Godfather theme. I don't know. I was watching that the other day.
No, but that's what I'm trying to say. We're angry, right? Let's everyone get angry and start saying, "Come on, we want to do this with the Lau. We want to make Lau good." And we can do it. People can do it because there's a lot of people who have got the not only the persona or the capability of doing it. Just bring it on. Let people know you exist.
Yeah.
Start putting things on bloody podcast or not podcast. What's it called? Blogspot.
Yeah.
Put stuff on Blogspot that's not wushu. Put stuff. Even you just question it. Even write stuff.
There's going to be like an influx now of wushu related posts because everyone
asking
hates
questions.
Us. It's it's great.
I can just see that. You're right. Yeah, they're going to just go right. Well, let's flood it with wushu. Yeah.
Oh Jesus.
That's all right.
But I think what I think another thing, right? Because I want to go back to this Hung Gar thing, right?
Oh Christ!
You don't. Yeah, but you love it really. I was gonna mention, right? So the Hung Gar that they do is called Lau Gar lineage Hung Gar, right? Why don't we do Jeremy Yao lineage Lau Gar? Why isn't it called that?
As far as I'm concerned, it's the only Lau Gar.
No, but like what I don't understand is like first and foremost, my condolences to the family of this guy. Respect, talented film and all that. Respect, and that what I just did there was probably more class than burning my tax returns and making a YouTube video. Do you know what I mean? But just be classy about it. You respect the family. Good luck. Blah blah. But why would you call the style unless it's like a marketable thing? Why would you call the style Lau Gar lineage Hung Kyun? Now, you know, oh yeah, but it's
well,
but
okay.
This is my point, right? The guy was a movie star. The guy was a movie star, director, and all the rest of it. So doesn't it make sort of sense to call it, you know, after him and then say lineage Hung Kyun? But aren't we missing the point on, like, isn't the important person in the style Hung? I'm just wondering.
Exactly. But that's I think the issue that people. I mean, okay, so all the people we know that left Lao in order to do that, like through whichever way they chose to leave, it's irrelevant, right? The one individual that left was having a problem keeping the name Lau. So it's obvious, pretty obvious to me, and you can correct me if I'm wrong if you want to, and you know who you are.
I think you might be.
Well, the fact is that you want to keep the name Lau, so you look for some style that has the name Lau in it so that you can then continue to use the name Lau in your association style.
Yes, I think that's probably part of it, but I think looking at what they do, I don't think they do teach Lau Gar anymore in terms of.
I hope they do, because it's a complete waste of life if they don't.
What I mean is, I think they're spending more time doing sort of, you know, Tiger Crane, you know.
Got no choice, have they? It takes so much to learn.
Like, I get that, but I think it's just a coincidence that this was called. But an interesting coincidence, nevertheless.
I don't think it's a coincidence.
Okay, well,
I don't think it's a coincidence. You look up, you find someone who's got some style or some capability or some talent above and beyond yours, as that's how they would see it, and go, right, I am being persecuted for trying to keep this name. I'm now going to justify keeping this name.
Okay, well, hang on, but I'm not defending it because whatever. But let's be honest. Let's be honest, right? I don't think Master Yao should have tried to trademark Lau Gar name. It's a name.
I have to agree in that sense. It is a name, but no, I don't agree. I've never agreed with that, but nevertheless, I don't agree that people should destroy it either. I don't believe people should disrespect it.
I think they disrespected Master Yao by dragging it through lawyers and the courts and stuff like that. Like,
but I think
for no reason, because you want the name. It's like, grow up.
Well, perhaps in hindsight, it wasn't the right way to go. I'm not sure if it was the right way to go, but when it was first envisaged, you never had all this kind of problem. You had massive strength, you had massive power, but when that power dissolves, then you've got all these people fighting over that power, and that is now today, and that is the problem today. Not then, not when it was first envisaged.
Absolutely.
So you've got to look at the difference in time and the difference in opinion today. It's totally different. So trying to keep that same kind of policy of trying to prevent people using a name when in Canada alone there's Lao all over the place. It's not the Lao I know, but it's Lao nevertheless. And you try telling them not to use the name Lao, they'll tell you where to get off. So it's not like it's a common name. And it's common within martial arts as well, and common within Hung Gar, and common as Lau Gar.
The name of one of their sets is Lau Gar.
Yeah. So, and that's why I believe that they went in that direction. I don't think the style itself suits them because of their previous training and their previous
mindset.
I think it's simply a political requirement. And I think it's just gone to a point where they've gone, well, you know what, we can learn all this traditional aspect, all the traditional stuff, the language, whatever they want to learn, and good luck to them, you know. But the style is completely alien to what they were brought up with.
Well, we know this because they're training to miss. Just saying.
Yeah. Well, they were brought up to be able to fight. They were brought up to be able to use techniques that were with speed, and we know how they were brought up, and now they've completely changed the way that they train and doing all these big sets. And you know what I think about big sets? No matter who does them, you know, I don't like big sets. I don't. Why do a massive long set that has barely any fighting in it? Basically, mostly strength in it, you know, exercises. So yeah, it's a completely alien world to what they were brought up in. Yeah. And whatever they choose to do, good luck, you know, no problem.
That's not the issue, but it's
but it kind of, it begs to, you know, it kind of makes me think, you know what, that's not the reason they started doing that. They followed people who encouraged them, who actually they do different things as well.
Yeah.
So they still do all this, you know, crap that he was brought up on, or at least he started training. And yeah, they've gone in their own way, and you know, whatever.
You know, but yeah, no, that's. I mean, the point was, it's just about being a genuine, person, I suppose. First of all, forget martial artists. Just be honest to yourself.
Yeah,
you know? And it's like, I don't think these people, you know, certainly some of them we know, you know.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. Absolutely, I agree with you because you know them, I know them, but irrespective of that, talking about how we could change the way people build on wushu and tai chi on a Lau blogspot.
Yeah,
can we see some Lau? Please.
I doubt that very much. I don't think we'll see that.
Okay, then can we see some comments on why on our spot? Can we see some comments to us telling us why there shouldn't be Lau on it? Right? Can you or agree with us or disagree with us? Just give us something, because we need it, you know. And then I'll get rid of this Hogwarts, you know, pillow behind me, and I'll put Lau Gar on. I'll get a Lau Gar one made, but right now it's Hogwarts because it's all bloody fairy dust.
Yeah. I tell you, I worry for it. You know, I worry. For it.
And it's like
you know, I'm not. What do I say? I'm certainly no representative of.
James, you're an artist. An artist. Yeah, artists have opinions, right? They are determined to have their art recognized, and the love of your art, and with me too. I love the art. You love the art. We're artists in the sense that we depend on that art, you know, to make us something. It makes us something. We make it, and without that, you're just making movement. You know, you're just a member of a cult. So, you know, start showing what you believe in, your art, and start believing in the art, you know, by, you know, promoting it. Stop promoting bloody wushu and everything else, as much as it could be respected in the beauty and then the athleticism. It's not what we are promoting in the Lau, in the association. So, you know, let us see a bit of Lau. And it's not going to look pretty. I understand it's not going to look pretty. Violence isn't pretty. Self-defense isn't pretty. But that's what we learned it for. You know, and yeah, those people who like to do the sets in big exaggerated ways, demonstrate that too. I've seen people doing it to music and completely changing it for that reason. And okay, let's just see that too. But let's not see the real style die. Let's not see the ability of someone to walk down the street and defend themselves, you know, die, because it would be such a shame to watch martial arts disappear. And and you get these wushu thing, and then of course everyone believes in this wushu. Everyone sees all that and goes, oh yeah. Guess what? All you're doing is feeding frenzy of these little self-defense groups going, I've just reinvented martial arts because Kung Fu doesn't work, you know, because they just throw themselves around, fall all over the place, do amazing, spectacular jumps. It doesn't work in reality. In reality, I'm going to poke you in the eye, as if that didn't exist.
Well, I mean, I was watching bloody Wushu yesterday, and this guy doing this bloody sword form didn't have a clue how to use a sword. Like, not a clue. Like,
just flip.
At one point, the guy actually got the sword, chucked it into the other hand, and caught it. And it wasn't Jake Mace. This was like a Wushu thing.
It wasn't Jake Mace.
It wasn't Jake Mace. And it's like he's like mid-form, and then
Hi,
he does
Jake.
a flip. Hi, Jake. We love you. You know, I think he's living in the woods now, isn't he? I've seen him. He's off grid. I think, you know, I think that's a bit like you. You've gone off grid. I think he is in Canada, actually, Jake Mace. I think he's living in Canada.
Tell him to come and see me. I'd love to talk to him.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no, I'd love to speak to him. I'd love to. He looks like a really nice guy, actually, but
I think he's a nice guy. I just wouldn't want to talk about martial arts with him because I think he's a complete idiot.
Well, when it comes to martial arts, he's an idiot, but he might be able to tell us how to do a podcast.
That's true. No. I tell you, yeah. So interesting. So anyway, what have we got in terms of? Because I wanted to talk about. We'll finish up because we've got a bit. Yeah. Have we been bitchy? It's just opinions. The thing is,
yes,
it's our opinion. It's my opinion. It's your opinion. Whatever, you know. Don't take us with a pinch of salt, for God's sake. You know, don't believe us. Go and look at this stuff for yourself. You know, of course, you know, we'll present it in a sort of I'll say what I say in a biased way because I am biased. I make no bones about it. But you know, there are more biased people than me in the world who would not call their own, you know, inadequacies out, and I do frequently actually, and actually probably you call my inadequacies out more than anybody else, you know. But you're strictly on the fence, Mr. Noobs. You're like a politician. You're slick.
I have to be.
You're slicker than grease on a doorknob.
Someone has to keep control of this bloody podcast.
That's true.
Or you start throwing stones at you.
Well, you know. I think we kind of. I define my life by the chaos I create, and then I deal with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not a monk. I'm no monk.
What's that thing in the Bible? Let the first, you know, cast the first stone.
Let he who is without sin cast the first stone.
That's exactly what we need.
There you go. So, you know.
Yeah.
But hey, you know, at least we're honest with our opinions. No one's going to shut us up. You know?
People's probably going to send something in going.
That's not true. We do get censored. But
someone's going to send something saying those who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones.
Yeah, it's like, you know, shove your quotations book up your ass. You know. Anyway, right. Let's talk about what we're going to do. Hand blocks. Have we done 7 and 8? Hand blocks 7 and 8. Hang on, I've just got to check the list of episodes we've done because I forgot where we were. I think we haven't done 7 and 8. Have we done 7 and 8?
No, I don't think we've done 7 and 8. It wouldn't hurt to talk about it again anyway.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, as mentioned before, we've got to. I think the problem was as they get more technical, as we go up, it becomes harder to talk about, you know. But yeah. Well, we try our best.
Yeah, well, we'll have the Patreon soon, and
yeah, well, you know, that's still a work in progress, guys. We're trying to work on our Patreon and get that off the ground. And as soon as we do, we're going to have some good content for you. It's going to be obviously our opinions, but we promise we're not going to just give you the movements and then go off on it. We're going to really, the thing we wanted to do, and the thing I know that you, Mr. Newbie, want is just to give, you know, arguments for and against everything, and, you know, really talk in deep about the techniques. And we're going to do that with the sets. Obviously, they're going to be very long, you know, discussions, not just discussions, going to be demonstrating all the rest of it.
Yeah.
You know, but we're certainly going to cover, you know, all the syllabus, and we're just working out the sort of the technicalities of doing it on Patreon, because it is difficult, but at the end of the day,
Yeah. Now we've got to try, and me being here in Canada at the moment, certainly with this situation, I've got to train my son to be able to actually do, the martial art enough to, to follow the moves, so I can actually throw him about or whatever I need to do, and then get him to be there at the time. Quite difficult. So it's getting the help as well to get on video.
Oh, it's
with movements that require a partner.
Yeah, I think we are doing 7 and 8. We got to do 7 and 8. It is a multinational thing, our podcast. Well, across the pond.
Yeah.
Anyway, hand block number 7, tiger claws.
Fujiao.
Okay, so go on. What can we? How would you start off this?
It's unusual because you're actually blocking with the rear hand. So the person is attacking, with the right and then the left. Okay, he's right foot forward. Okay, so sorry, he's right foot forward, so stepping, punching with the. Let me think. Yeah, he is number 5. He's right foot forward. So he's stepping and punching.
No. Hang on. Like you said, number 5. We're talking number 7.
Oh crap! Are we?
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm going back to number 5. There you go. Fujiao. Said Fujiao, and then what 5? Yeah, what was saying? That was right foot forward. So I apologise. I'm getting them mixed up. Yeah, it's so my
left
age.
Foot forward. 62.
Yeah, left foot forward, step and punch on there. Yeah. So it's Which one is it? Fujiao. Yeah.
Fujiao, number 7.
Yeah. So he's punching, stepping and punching. He's left foot forward, step punch on the right. Give a nice punch, and you're blocking it normally. Yeah, but you're stepping back.
How are you blocking
back on the wrong leg?
Okay, yeah.
Just a basic block. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, beauty looks in the mirror, because don't forget, we got listeners as well. You got to try and
describe. Yeah, beauty looks in the mirror. It's called that for a reason. You pick up the mirror and look at it. Pick up the mirror and look at it. Okay. But as we do this, and he goes to stick the other punch, we're going to bring the other hand inside. And as we bring the other hand inside, we're then going to be, attacking the face and attacking the arm. Now, a lot of people will kind of grab the arm.
Right.
But, of course, a tiger, Fujiao,
doesn't have
thumbs, opposing thumbs, and he doesn't have fingers. So you can't grab the arm. Having said that, of course, people will do it, and there's absolutely no reason why you can't perform something like that. But remember that it's not Fujiao. It's not number 5. It becomes your derivative.
Number 7.
Sorry, number 7. Why have I got 5 on my head?
I don't know.
Yeah, Fujiao. Anyway. Yeah. Okay, so yes, block, hand inside and rotate. And as you're rotating, you're attacking, the inside of the arm. Ba-bang, ba-bang. And as you're hitting with both. So it's
right, can you elaborate as to
not like this? I can't.
No, I'm sure you can't, but do your best.
Okay,
do your best.
Go on.
When we are striking, because it is striking both the arm on the inside.
It's about tenacity. The tiger is tenacity, so it's a bang, really, powerful strike with the claws, and you're literally trying to hit the sinews of the arm.
Yeah. So is it not that it is, but it's very similar to sort of when you say sort of like dart fingers, isn't it? It's not that it is.
Well, dart finger, yeah.
I said, but what you're using that to attack,
Yeah. So you like that, or like that hitting, yeah.
So you're actually hitting with the sort of the tips.
Yeah, and I'm not turning to the side now, so people will see my elbow up. But I can describe the fact that the elbow is actually down and round, so we're turning to the side, and that gives us our left hand reach and length. The other one will be striking at the arm.
That's a really good point, because the amount of people who will come up. First of all, I've seen a lot of people do it where they don't consider the space here.
Protection,
they'll raise it up. It'll be wide open. Like you said, you're coming on the inside. Of course, at this point, you've got to be careful not to trap yourself. But I think the action itself is quite, reasonably fast.
It's tenacity. You're just going bang with both.
But a lot of people,
it's got to be. You can turn. I can't.
A lot of people are going to raise that elbow up like that.
Yeah, no, it's got to be down.
And I see that a lot with short people versus tall people doing it.
Yeah.
If you're a small person trying to do it, they'll be up here like that.
Yeah.
So but it's and what would you say to sort of that scenario, that situation?
Well, I mean, you are just all it is developing tenacity in the sense that that's what that actual.
But what do you mean? What do you mean by tenacity? I get what it means, but
power, strength, speed, bang, anger, aggression.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Tiger's aggressive.
Yeah.
So it's just a snap. Yeah, right. Snap. And of course, this is just directed at the face, as
opposed to a guide off, or whatever.
Yeah, right? Rather than a diversion. Like yeah, it's just rather than a diversion and an attack, it's literally going bang, one block of a bang straight away. Yeah. And I know that it's difficult to show it on a
totally
even on a video, and even if we didn't have the video, it'd be very difficult. Obviously, even harder. But you can see I'm so close to the video camera. So yes, it is. But if anybody needs me to describe it or explain it, all they have to do is send in a little, an email or something, and I'll send them a little video of how I mean it to be done.
Or you can hold out for the Patreon video, which
I could hold out for them. But as we are doing that, we are syncing and consolidating that as a horse stance.
Right.
So this is a very traditional kind of aspect of martial arts. So we are trying to create, in the sense of the 7 hand block, we are trying to create a very traditional kind of aspect of one of the animals. Yeah.
It's why do you think, I mean, what's your thoughts on why do you think it was added? I mean, what do you think? I'm not asking you to sort of go into the mind.
Well, you mean why it's in a? No, it's
but it's an interesting one. It, like you said, it's very sort of animalistic in retrospect.
Yeah. Well, it's one of the 5 animals, and it's just like, I think it's just trying to give people the opportunity to do something in defense using one of the, spirits, the spiritual kind of aspect of the animal. In other words, the tenacity of the tiger. So it's giving a good example of the tenacity of the tiger in a low stance, attacking a person who's coming directly at you, block, power, bang, and transference of from that movement to that movement. And if you think about it, you do exactly the same with one of the knife defenses, except of course you're grabbing with the knife defense. When you bring the hand on the inside. So you're doing, you're going bang, but in the knife defense you'll grab and then smack. But it's the same kind of motion.
But that same kind of motion, it's a fighting stance. It's the beginnings of it, isn't it?
It is. It is a fighting stance. That's right. So, and it ends with an animal.
Yeah.
And with the spirit of that animal, tenacity.
But I think it's an interesting one as well, in terms of, like, you don't want to ever overanalyze the syllabus because it is what it is. But when you look at it and the way it's presented, it's like you really are considering now, what the other hand is doing. It's because if it's not on the inside, you're going to completely miss that second punch, because the punch is specific. It's it's coming down the middle, right? So, but how many people might do hand block number 1, and they won't consider this open space here, because their hand will be back there. So it's like but when you're forced to think about the center line,
but it is a difficult thing to put into reality, because who would step punch same arm, punch same arm as an attacker?
No.
But you have to interpret it into reality as if someone's trying to grab you and then grab you again. Grab you and then punch you as they're running towards you. Are you capable of, well, get out of the way, bang, kind of thing? Or can you completely remember when you do a form, and this in effect is a form, even it being a singular kind of form, like a single step or 1 or 2 steps, it is done in a much more exaggerated way as the form, number 7. But then you have to apply it to a real situation. As you do that, it no longer becomes step 1, step 2. It simply becomes someone's coming at you. Are we going to, just simply, wipe it, strike it, cover it with the same arm?
Yeah.
Because remember, that first arm is a block. Yeah. And the next one, it's attacking. So if he caught your wrist, for instance, you rotate it straight at him. Yeah. If he didn't and he was punching, wipe it or parry it straight at him. And does it have to be on the inside? It doesn't have to be on the inside.
This is my next
Moving
question.
on the outside to him.
Yeah. So when you look at the hand block itself, it kind of, I don't ever like a lot of inside work. Do you know what I mean? Because it's,
they have the option to hit again.
Yes, exactly. So it's always advantageous, if you like, to
but
move.
We're always talking about the most basic things.
Yeah,
this is
absolutely.
People have to understand that each one of these hand blocks are basics. They're all done as basics. They're not like something that you're going to do after Black Sash. If you think about it, all the syllabus after Black Sash, there are no hand blocks after Black Sash. They are simply scenarios, vehicles to give you an option to use techniques that you may find in the sets, and you will find that in the set. So that's all they are, is just scenarios. So people shouldn't read too much into them, but they should be able to make them work, not necessarily in the way that they're done. Develop them, and then they become faster and more fluid. They'll look different then.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at number 7, I always make a comparison, and it's not an exact comparison because what we do is pretty sort of liberal and open-ended. But when we look at this number 7 and the tiger claws, I make the comparison. It's very similar to very similar, I say, to in Farkun when we're because we're coming on the inside, we're doing a similar thing, with the 2 hands, etc. Similar in a way, but not the same. Obviously, I understand the difference. It's but give it sort of.
But you can, they are different. But you can, you know that you're doing claws when you go out. But of course, then you're grabbing them as well. So then and that's why you could apply it in the same way, but not the same animal.
Yeah.
And I think all it's doing is just giving an example of that specific animal. If you train and you end up doing things like the 5 animal set, there's lots of different parts of the set that goes, as you're doing all the crane, and then you're doing the tiger, and you're doing, leopard, and all this kind of thing. So you're applying all these different moves and doing the animals. Now, traditionally, when someone would do a set in that fashion with all the animals, they would take on the spirit of that animal. So, you would hear a Chinese person who was, steeped in the tradition aspect would be, be a whoa kind of thing when he does that kind of thing and growl or shout and that kind of attitude when it was tenacity or when it was aggression and, kind of snaky movements when it was a snake, So the noises he would make would be the spiritual noises that he would envisage that animal performing. Right. So it's all very spiritual, animal kind of interpretations. Yeah. And that's how people love traditional martial artists, traditional Kung Fu practitioners. They love the idea of, all this Jackie Chan.
Yeah, but that is often confused with pretending to be a frigging animal as opposed to inhabiting the spirit.
Yeah. But that's just the difference between the cultures of originally Chinese to now in a much more westernized society. When you do Kung Fu, traditional Kung Fu in a Western society, that is no longer Jackie Chan. It becomes Rod Hull.
Rod Hull and Emu.
Yeah. Exactly. You see, so
I was thinking we got all the old ones: Bobby Davro, Rod Hull. I'll be Jimmy Cranky.
It's my era, 70s, my era.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I think I'm 18 now. Well, I was 18 back then.
That's it. That's why you like that Life on Mars, isn't it? Because you're like, Gino.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
That's exactly how it was there. Yeah, and I drove a Cortina.
Did you?
Yeah, I didn't own one.
Did you crash into boxes? Did you crash into boxes down alleyways?
No, I had a Mini and my friend had a Cortina and we swapped. And he was doing handbrake turns with my Mini, and he had these jacked up big fat wheels on his Cortina, and it was lovely. Cortinas were beautiful. They were so, so chav, and yet so gorgeous.
They'd become
back seats were so comfortable.
Yeah,
really comfortable.
They didn't have seatbelts back then.
No, they were an added. Well, I think they had them, but they weren't compulsory. Right. And then they were an added extra just before that. I had a car without seatbelts.
See, my favourite's a Capri. That's slightly after that, but
Capris were useless.
So were Cortinas.
No,
they were rust buckets. They were rust buckets.
Well, all Fords were rust buckets then.
Listen, don't speak ill of Henry.
If you had a Capri, the best thing you could stick to, 2x2 slabs in the boot, right? Because if you didn't,
you go everywhere.
Just spun on you. Yeah.
Listen, Bodie. It never happened to Bodie and Doyle.
Yes, it did. You saw it in the film.
Yeah, it did. Actually, that's why I just want to be Lewis Collins. Handbraking a Capri.
You could not control a Capri on a bend.
I don't care. That's the
unless
beauty.
you slowed down.
It's a muscle car. That's like the whole point of it.
It was a beautifully looking car. It was a beautiful looking car, but it was absolutely bloody useless.
Well, who buys a muscle car for practicality? No one. They buy it because it looks cool. And when you crash in, it looks cool. Anyway, how do we go on to this? Right, anyway, let's go back to, number 7. Any mistakes you see people do?
Well, they don't sit in a horse dancing, obviously.
But when you say horse stance...
Yeah, it is a horse stance. Yeah, it needs to be a horse stance, the same as other, when you do...
Okay, let me ask you a question, right?
Number 1, kick block.
So if you're a small person doing this to a big person, you go down in horse stance, you're going to be up here, with whatever, and what you're hitting, what's the... Do you see what I mean? There's a horse stance, and then there's taking the attributes and training a horse stance, so you're sinking your low central gravity and all the rest of it. But a horse stance doesn't mean you do a horse stance. It just means you can drop your weight.
Yeah, the only problem is, though, James, if you don't drop your weight and you're a small person, you're going to be knocked flying anyway. So it's all about maintaining a good, strong position. And I agree with you about the height and that, but if the person's aiming at you, you'll be aiming down anyway.
Agreed. I'm just on about the targeting and whatnot.
Well, if he's attacking you and you're small, it's not like you're going to suddenly disappear very low. No. He's coming at you. You block it. He's coming at you again. Okay. All you're doing is, as he's coming at you, is you're moving to a stance and whacking it. Okay. But you need a good position to do those strikes, because if you haven't got a good position, he'll knock you flying anyway if you're small.
Yeah.
So I guess that, again, going back to traditional Chinese martial arts, is they're talking about fighting a bigger person. So the whole concept is to fight a bigger person. So the whole concept of horse stance is that to build up strength in your position so that a bigger person can be controlled by a smaller person in a much stronger stance.
Do you think that was the intention of the Chinese martial art, to fight a bigger person, or do you just think it was a byproduct? They were just fighting themselves?
Well, you had to. I mean, it's okay to fight someone a similar size to you, but what's the hardest thing to do?
Oh, I agree.
Fight a bigger person.
Yeah, right. I agree.
It's got to work against a bigger person, or it's not a martial art, is it?
No.
If you have to pick and choose the people you fight, I mean, some martial arts. But when people come to a club and they start training, right, and they don't take into account the concept of the technique, and they work just on power alone, right, and they constantly beat people because they're big guys, and everyone's getting fed up of getting bruises by them, and then one day that big guy, much bigger than him, walks in the class, and guess what? His techniques don't work anymore.
Yeah.
Right, and that is why you've got to work the techniques, and that's why a small person has got to consolidate their stance and throw power from a good stance. And that's what we do stances for in traditional martial arts, and we have to maintain them, even though we may be in the West. We have to maintain the science of it. Yeah, I mean, it's the same as a boxer being in a forward position and keeping his you know,
I guess the point
behind him.
Yeah, I guess the point I was making is if you know, obviously these are vehicles, the hand blocks and kick blocks, they're in a set way. It's a two-man form, right? So it's got to conform. But if you're talking about the use of a horse stance in how, what would you say, combative sort of application of it, it doesn't mean you're going to go straight down like friggin', you know, in a horse stance.
No,
you know, you could interpret it by just dropping your weight because it's the same mechanics. But, look, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, but also I know what you're trying to get at when you say he's coming low. But what you have to think about is his arm is coming from the shoulder.
Yeah.
The target is the head.
So the guy's already taller.
There.
Yeah, he's punching down. I get that.
Yeah.
I'm not
so he's already
about
taller than him. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Oh, are we moving on? Are we?
I was just moving on to the horse stance, not whether or not he's punching down. So I was just trying to talk about the practical use of a horse stance. As opposed to
it isn't about the practicality of it. It's
okay.
Well, I say that carefully because it is about, obviously it's a practical movement, otherwise it wouldn't be there. But it's got to be trained so that you consolidate your stance all the time, not so that you become glued to it, but that you be capable of it, so that in the event you need to throw power, you need to throw it from a powerful position. If you don't train a powerful position, you can't throw a powerful technique.
If I mean, because we kind of side on, aren't we, in number 7?
Yeah, we're side on, which gives us the range of
it gives us
technique.
Range. But don't we compromise, you know, structural power? What I mean is,
that's why you're in a horse riding stance, and you've moved to the side from the technique.
The
technique is going on past you. You're attacking it from the side and at him to the front. But
also, he's coming into you, so you know, his momentum is aiding in the
exactly. So it's aiding that strike towards his face.
But talking about, sorry.
I was just going to say, if you hit in his face and his face goes backwards, that changes his balance as well. So once you've done that strike, there's absolutely no reason why you can't then manipulate him to bring him down, which is with all those techniques. They're not in the syllabus per se in terms of the hand blocks and kick blocks, but we want to try to always, I would encourage everybody who does hand blocks and kick blocks, always to try to finish the hand blocks and kick blocks with the person lying on the floor. And of course, sometimes it's not possible to do that in a class where certainly you're not, you know, I mean, if I was talking to the instructors, I'd say, get them, throw him to the floor, right? That's what I would say in the Life of Brian theme, throw him to the floor. Because if you throw him to the floor, you know, whatever technique you're doing, if you can end it with him on the floor, it ends the fight.
That's good,
hopefully. But we know that it's not part of the syllabus, or at least it's not in that technique. But, you know, that's why I would always say, if you can do it, learn the technique and then learn how to use it, and also learn how to finish off the person. You need to finish off these techniques.
I think that
we're talking self-defense then.
Yeah, we always look at, like, I look at a lot of other people doing sort of their hand blocking, you know, applications and whatnot, and it's like you know, we mentioned it loads of podcasts ago, but it's like you want to see the attacker being violent as well, not just you. And it's but that's an important part, definitely. But will it? Obviously, you got to learn it, haven't you?
Yeah, you're not going to get a couple of beginners with a violent attacker. What you're going to do, hopefully, is learn the technique, learn to use it, practice it an awful lot. It becomes completely different. The big letters become the double writing, as we always talk about. And now you use it in a much different way. It doesn't even look the same. The concept has got to be the same. The technique doesn't have to look the same, okay? But it will be the same technique, but it just is just fluid. It's totally different, shortened. It's abrasive, it's aggressive, and it's invisible.
Right.
But that takes an awful lot of training in it. But what do people do? They train their hand blocks, they train their kick blocks, and then once they pass the black sash, they don't bother doing them again. So they never become useful. And that's why nobody likes hand blocks, kick blocks, because they don't continue to practice them. They don't hone them. They don't make them usable and workable.
Yeah, I mean, part of me understands why they wouldn't, but then you've got to be able to create, from the forms, the applications, or get thinking.
And those are just examples of
But
they're given to you.
But okay, all right. No, what you're saying, I understand completely. But because you've got the experience now that you've got of 40 plus years, do you feel like you want to continue to break down the hand blocks and kick blocks, or would you prefer just to take techniques out of a form and just look at it like that and apply them?
Well, they're the same thing. All they are is techniques taken out of the form.
I know. But so what I'm saying is, why would you go back to something that is done a specific way? Or you could make your own up and just be a bit more freer.
Yeah, but do you know why people go back? Because they didn't do them in the first place.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So they need to do them in the first place. So what we're saying is encouraging people to actually practice them properly, rather than do them to a point where you can pass your grading and then move on, because you won't do them properly ever. And so they'll never work. And so half your training life in your early days is doing techniques that don't work. And that's not because they don't work. It's because you don't work them.
I think you should call them for what they are. Forms. Then I think people will respect them a bit more.
Yeah, they might,
but
want to train them. Yeah, but it just becomes confusing. And most people just go, yeah, there's your hand blocks. Let's do the hand blocks. Right, now move on. Oh, let's do a block. We'll do a block and a punch. But is it going to work like that? It's not going to work like that. You've got to make it work for you. So you've got to do it in a way that's going to work.
But like when you do if you do a 2-man form or whatever, like the stick or whatever, like we discussed, you train it so hard, so you understand the movements, then you make a mistake and you recover whatnot. Yeah. But there's not enough, by the time you started the hand blocks and the kick blocks, you've gone, bum, bum, oh, it's done, which is, it's like, oh,
And how many times can you repeat it then?
Well, loads of times.
Yeah, exactly. And that's my case. You can repeat it more than a set. So it's one technique used and repeated.
Or you can just do stick in hands.
Yeah, eventually. But a lot of people can't get sticky hands off, can they? Until they actually can move their bodies. And a lot of them don't move their bodies because they don't repeat it enough. So they're not repeating the movement enough for it to become a muscle memory. They just simply go block, punch. I'll give you an example, right? And this is a good example, and I'm sure that I taught you when, you were younger. And
what do you mean when I was younger?
Yeah, okay. So, when you first started. Okay, so when people come to the class, the first thing they do is they'll start learning hand blocks or kick blocks, learn number 1 hand block. So the first thing they do with number 1 hand block, someone throws a punch, they go like that. They try to avoid it. Yeah? Then they learn the hand blocks. So they go step back, block, punch. Then they get a bit better at it. And they go block, punch at the same time. Then they get a bit better at it. They don't bother with the block, they just go punch. Okay, then they get better at it. They don't bother with punch, they just move. So going from there to there is a journey of, deliverance. You deliver those techniques until you don't need the techniques. And so number 1 hand block doesn't look like this. It looks like this.
Yeah.
Do you see?
Yeah, so absolutely.
And that's the journey of understanding martial arts. So that once you can fight, you don't need to fight.
Yeah.
Just so you make the other person fight.
Absolutely, but with all due respect, that doing this ain't gonna cut it in a black sash grading, is it? I say, well, Master Yao, I was just doing it because I'm so in tune with it. See?
Yeah.
Did it?
Yeah. No, you're right.
Did they teach you that in the CIA? Did they teach you that in the CIA?
But you see, that's the whole point. When you do the set in a grading, any set, it's always going to look like when you learned it. But when you do it in real life, or for realism, or for self-defense, it'll never look the same. It cannot look the same because it would be too slow.
Yeah.
So, but they're not expecting you to do that in a grading,
No,
just the same as they're not expecting you to do that in a grading.
Yeah.
So it's all about the process of learning.
I try and argue. I see I argue the points, knowing the answer's not going to, like, you know, it's not going to be the answer that I want. But then I just resign to the, all right, yeah, fair enough. There's sometimes there's just no point in, like, oh well, that's the way it's going to be.
But isn't that, you know, you should argue it. Well, you do argue, which is why we have these conversations, because, you know, you go, yeah, but what about that? And then that's how we get through to, you know, what we try to get through to. It's how we get to that journey of learning. Is big movements to little movements, big ABC to complete, you know, literary subjects.
Yeah.
So it's an important factor. So going on to number 8.
Oh, right. Okay.
Shall we?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because we're going to run out of time otherwise.
Well, you know.
Again, number 8, you know, blocking, stepping, blocking, top technique, or wiping. Yeah, and then,
Well,
blocking.
Okay, just for the people listening, what are you doing? Explain. So Beauty looks in the mirror, you know, hand block number 1.
Okay, Beauty looks in the mirror, but you know what? The second technique, diversion here. Diversion before you do that movement. Okay. Obviously, okay, anybody who's watching, I'm trying to put it in the camera, right? I'm not going to do this. Yeah. Okay. In reality, I'm going to be doing it down here, but you can't see it. Okay. So this is diversion, diversion, and rotation, and constant. It's a constant forward motion.
It's a diversion because you maintain the integrity of your
forward position. You're going forward.
So you're not,
and you're taking out whatever is following. Yeah.
But you're not diverting by going.
No.
Right. You're diverting because it's there.
Yeah. It's being parried. It's being diverted off your position.
Because you got something
you're rotating.
In the middle.
Continue.
You got something
exactly.
in the middle.
So. Yeah. So it's being knocked aside, rotate underneath it, and strike it. And people go, okay, well, that doesn't look right because I would normally do that. If you do that, you're just going to bring his hand around and he'll smack you in the head.
Yeah, it's like you know, just going around. Sticking hands. You've not quite dominated the person. Like we always say, you know, in sticking hands.
Yeah.
You're dominating on top, but why would you dominate on the side when they can just hit you?
Well, the point is that if some people do sticky hands, right? And you do sticky hands and he knocks it one way and you come around the other way. So he then knocks it that way, you come around the other way, and he knocks it that way and you come around the other way.
Yeah.
So all he's doing is fighting off the one hand. All he's doing is taking it to another target. Yeah. And so that's how people, when they're learning sticky hands, they often end up doing that. Okay, this is a diversion forwards, constant and constant. Now, to reiterate it, all you got to do is look at the second set. What's the second set? Forwards, counter, strike. Okay, that's where it comes from. So all the movements come from the sets.
Albeit in the second set, it's done just slightly higher, right?
It depends on who's hitting you.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But
so
in the second set, you're not. All right, but in the second set, you're not doing it down here, are you?
You're not doing it down. Yeah, but you're not doing it down there if someone's attacking you. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to block them, would you?
I'm not saying, but you're saying, look at it in the second set. I'm saying, yeah,
it's the same
I
thing.
agree. It's the same thing. But it's like saying, you know, you all right, never mind.
I love that.
No, you can say,
Stand up.
Right.
Someone's coming and punching you.
In the second set, you're here. Well, I'm going to have to bend. So you're here, right?
Yeah.
There.
Yeah, that's it.
But if it's not lower in the second set, that's what I'm saying.
It doesn't have to be lower. But if it was that low, he'd be punching you too low to the groin. He's just punching you to the stomach.
No, he's punching you to the stomach.
That's what it just says. He's not punching to the groin. He's punching you to the stomach.
Yeah.
So
if he's punching you to the stomach, it's lower than it would be if you were doing the block high.
Who's doing the block high?
No one.
I won't do the set. You don't do the set like that. I wouldn't do the set like that. I do the set low.
Excuse me. Well, hang on. I'm not saying I do the set high. I'm just saying I do it to the middle.
And that's where the punch is. So you're diverting the punch, then you're going to wipe it, and then you're going to strike it.
Where are they punching then? To the head.
Yeah, and then to the body.
All right. Well, be specific. Where in the body? To the belly button.
Where they want to.
Right then. So if they do
where
punch low,
there's an opening, it's a low punch. It's a secondary technique. So you're aiming to the face. They've blocked the face. Now they've got a hand up there.
Yeah.
They're open down there.
Yeah.
So now you're going to throw the punch at wherever you can. Remember that the person can move and also transfer his weight high and low. So we can actually go into a lower stance or into an higher stance, depending on where the punch is coming to meet the punch. So he's going to divert the punch, then he's going to rotate the punch and continue to strike forward. Okay, and step forward. Oh, by the way, we've got to add that step. Okay, so he's moving back, not stepping back in. Okay, he's just simply, it's kind of a shuffle, isn't it?
Yeah.
What we did discuss with people is always the ability to put your foot around the back of their leg, trap their knee, or at least touch their knee so you know they're not kicking you.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's your palm.
Yeah. I don't know what we were. I don't know what I. What was
we were arguing
saying?
about.
So what was I saying? It was so different.
Well, you were like that. I'm
not being funny. I'm on a camera and I've got the 10 million wires attached to me. I can't do it properly.
That's fine.
You're on a bed.
Yeah. I know. I love this bed. It's a great bed. That's it.
I'm doing nothing different. You've watched me do that set 1,000,001 times, and I've done that. So now you're saying, oh, you're doing it too high.
No. You said it, not me.
Well, what did I say? I said in the set.
You said it's not low. You said it's not low.
No, because it's not low in the set, because you're not doing it down there, here.
No, you're not. That's right.
You're doing it up there.
That's right.
Right. So what are we having?
I don't know. You're going to have to watch yourself back. Let's see. Anyway, don't forget the foot around the back of the foot. Okay. Don't forget the foot around the back of the foot.
Stop trying to creep now. Stop trying to creep. You've hurt my feelings.
Palm is always to the ribs. Lower ribs. Yeah. Lower ribs. Always striking. And if you twist, you're striking.
Yeah.
I'm sure I showed it to one of our listeners on a video.
Yeah, I think you did.
I did. They asked about that.
Yeah.
And that's right. Yeah. I wondered where it was. Yeah. I thought maybe we'd already done it on a podcast.
So you're shuffling in to strike, also turning your body for a bit more sort of power generation.
Yeah, that exactly. Slightly. Yeah, generating power.
Another thing would be also the consideration of the rear hand as well, because a lot of people might do it, but it's always in the center.
Yeah, try to cover yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. So one low, one high. Oh, self-explanatory. But when we look at what we're doing with the legs and we're stepping, now it could be knee against knee, or you could hook down round the back of the leg and press on the leg. In the syllabus, what exactly is, according to you, what exactly is what's required in the syllabus in terms of the leg?
Yeah, get the leg close so you can feel, whether he's going to kick you or not.
Right.
It's always good to close the gap. It's always good to get the legs touching. I mean, if you look at a Wing Chun dummy, right, they're always going from one side of that lower leg to the other.
To talk about Wing Chun practitioners.
Yeah, the wooden dummy then.
Oh, the wooden dummy. Ah, okay, all right.
Yeah, so you're bringing the leg around that lower wooden part, which is meant to represent the leg.
Yeah.
So you put your knee against it as often as you can, wrap the leg around one side, wrap the leg around the other, depending on which way you're attacking it. Yeah. So always trying to constantly connect with that leg. And that's what you should do whenever you're moving in to do your counters.
Well, it's a sticky leg.
It's it's reducing the ability of him to fight with his legs. Okay, nothing like getting a little shin kick, and it hurts.
Oh yeah.
While you're trying to do stuff with your hands, so don't let him do that shin kick. Cover it up, close it, tight knees, tight legs.
Yeah.
Always.
No, it's a great one. We haven't mentioned it's called Harvest Hand. I don't think we've even said that yet.
Yeah, that's the Harvest Hand.
Harvest Hand. Yeah. But I think a lot of people with the Harvest Hand, they really do misinterpret it. Like you said, they'll go round, they'll make a massive or a bigger circular rotation than actually they need.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
When you just got your fingers, you're creating.
That's it. It's called a harvest hand because it's basically a sickle. Yeah. So because it's a sickle, it's like you're cutting the rice.
Yeah, it's the communist.
That's it.
The communist hand
block. People will do that, People will do that, and they'll try and hide their little finger.
Yeah.
And whatever. You do what you want. Most people do that.
At that point, the fingers are pretty irrelevant. It's what the wrist is. It's what you do.
The wrist is it's the wrist. Yeah, the wrist. You're catching your wrist. And if you kept it going, of course, you could pick up a leg. If they were kicking, you could pick up a leg.
Yeah.
So and then that becomes what they would say, a crane's wing.
Yeah.
So the harvest hand is not a crane's wing, but of course from there you can divert it, so it looks the same. Again, it's a similar kind of thing. So one technique moving on to another.
Yeah. That's
but not necessarily known as the same technique.
No, you are,
just for the record. That's all.
Just for the record. In 100 years, when some poor soul is scouring podcast land, what's he on about? Yeah. So I don't know. Any points as to mistakes you see people do?
Just that they don't get close enough in, and that they put the palm past them instead of at them, because they're not turning and facing them.
Yeah, a big thing is,
and they're wiping that around, so they come around again.
Let's be kind of a bit specific as to the type of palm strike you're doing. So that you're using the edge. But you can't do it with straight up, because then you'd hit your fingers first on the person.
No, you're doing it sideways. You're already wiped. You're loaded.
Yeah.
So then and you're moving sideways against them. So your palm is actually going out straight from you, but you're actually going at an angle towards them.
Right.
So you've already moved to the side. You're striking them. So
the reason is we've got the little fish, don't we? Which is what that is. But then some people might think, it's the big palm or whatever. But we are we are saying now that you're turning to the side, strike forward. Yeah. With that edge.
Yeah, because you're turning to the side, you're going directly to their ribs. Right. So if you do that, you're this is quicker, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's loaded to go like that. That is not loaded until it gets to that point when you're going like that, right? So, it's not the same.
No.
Slightly slower. Yeah, the closest one is the best.
Yeah, right. Okay. Well, that was brilliant. That was great.
Well, I hope so. Well, I hope people get it. It's very difficult to explain things.
Well, the thing is, I think it's difficult, and I'm talking to you all the time. You're 6,000 miles away, and you think I'm doing the second set wrong. So
yeah. No, I
probably am.
You can cut that bit out if you want.
Oh no, that'll go in, warts and all. What do you mean? Because I didn't say anything that I was doing wrong. What am I doing wrong?
You just got to watch it and find out.
What, are you saying that we should edit?
I don't bloody know. It's up to you. You do all the editing.
I don't want to. I'll edit. If I make a mistake, I'll keep it in. I got no qualms with that.
Okay.
I don't think I did make a mistake. I just think that you weren't listening properly. But
don't keep my mistakes in. I'm the expert.
You're the expert, remember? Yeah.
I need to keep my street cred.
What street cred?
I know.
We got none. Oh, that's brilliant. Well, listen, thank you so much again, Mr. Newbie.
Okay.
That was great. thank you guys for joining us on another, episode of this this slowly sinking ship that is the Kung Fu podcast. If you did enjoy that, please take time, just go on our YouTube, give us a like, subscribe, follow us and all that. We'll, as soon as this lockdown's over, we'll try and get some more videos out there. Certainly go on our Facebook, give us a like.
And where else can they go?
Podbean, iTunes, and guys, don't forget, if you want to discuss Lau Gar, go on the Lau Gar Kung Fu official blogspot if you're a member of it.
That's it.
Start talking Lao. That's what we'd like to see. We really would like to see that. We can bitch and moan about things, but we you gotta help us do and do your bit as well, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. From me, James Still. Take it easy, be safe, train, and good luck. And from Mr. Newbie,
enjoy, train, practice, get on that Lau Gar thing. Talk Lau Gar.
Get on that Lau Gar thing. You'll see.
We'll see. Do you notice I've got a tan?
Have you? Have you? No, because your camera's so crap.
Yeah, my camera's.
You do, yeah.
Is that my good side? Is that my good side? I'm so handsome.
No comment. Right, guys, take care of yourselves. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye. You got to say goodbye. This is an audio thing, so it's like
sorry,
you can't just
Bye.
But there you go.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Still got my own teeth. Bye.
Oh, jeez.
Concentrate on your enemy's weak points. The eyes, the throat, the knackers.
Hi guys, thanks so much for joining us on the Kung Fu podcast. If you like that and you want to find out more about us, you can head over to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram or YouTube and find us under SJN Martial Arts. And also guys, this podcast is available on Podbean and iTunes. So until next time, take care of yourselves and we'll see you again on the Kung Fu podcast.
Karate punch is like an iron bar, whack. A Kung Fu punch is like an iron chain with an iron ball attached to the end and it go whang.
Can you break a log like that?
Don't know. Never been attacked by tree.